Hey, this is Justin from DFS Main Slate. We've had some questions recently about some stats on our website, so thought it'd be a good idea to do a nice little tutorial of our site. First, we want to start off with the goal. The first goal here is just to give you some DFS cheat sheets that you can download every morning for your contests. So that way you have a worksheet, something you can mark players, write notes, look through stats, and we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that the stats are as easy to read as possible. So when you're studying something, it's just right in front of you. And we're going to go through those sheets here and try to help you with those, and so we can all get on the same page here. First thing, this is our homepage that you're looking at. Down here, we just recently opened this up. This is our group feed. Whenever we drop our sheets, we'll drop them right here for you. If you sign up for our site, which is free, you'll get an email notification once these are available. And we're going to go over these three that we use for baseball. We have the main slate breakdown, the starting pitcher splits, the batting splits, and you see the same thing is up here, so you can click on those for easy navigation. So you can download the sheets here. Now we're going to get into those sheets right now. So first thing, we'll click on the main slate breakdown. You see it's another spot where you can download. If you're not looking at the group feed, you also got it here. If you don't want to download, you can also do the full screen, so you can check that out. So that's what we'll do right now, and we're going to go over some of these stats. So first we have, on the left here, we have the park information, okay, where the game's being played, and also the park factor. So this is the Baseball Savant park factor, so you could filter by best ballparks for hitters, for pitchers, being the lowest, neutral, kind of get you started there. Then we have the weather for each one. So you can see if there's any rain in the forecast, so we know to check delays. You can filter by higher temperature, and also you can check out and see where the wind's going as well. And that kind of gives you all the information you need for the ballpark to kind of start off your day. The next thing, and this is how it'll be kind of sorted when you download it for the most part. It's going to be sorted by runs, and you can sort it however you want. I like to sort it by runs to kind of get an idea, and for this here, this is for all the team information batting. And we have next to it here, we have the bullpen stats that they'll be facing. So the Yankees versus Cleveland, you can see the bullpen. We used to have the bullpen over here on the far right, but we decided you really want to know it when you're looking at the offense. And we wanted to reserve this side for studying pitchers. So when you're looking at the offense kind of generally with the stacks, you could see the bullpen, the ERA, the home runs per nine, very, very basic. And then you can also look at who they're facing, and we'll get into that pitching stats right now. For the hitting stats, you could filter by WRC plus, you could filter by ISO, you could filter by K percentage and walks. And usually that K percentage really comes in handy when you start studying pitchers, so you can see who's facing the highest. Remember, this is for the total active roster, and this is the splits for left versus right. So it helps you kind of break that down. And then over here, we have our pitchers. So we'll filter by salary. So you can get an idea what pitchers cost, who they're facing, how the strikeout matchup looks, what kind of power or run or WRC plus they're facing. Kind of gives you a nice little snapshot right here. And then when you're studying maybe like which pitcher you want to throw, you can go lowest by expected ERA. So you can see Cole Reagan has a 4.45 ERA with an expected 2.26, excuse me. So, that's a good sign for pitchers like this. There's some positive regression coming. That's always good. That's good information to find out. And that's our ERA box. And then here we got our batted ball profile. So you could filter this by barrel percentage, what pitchers are giving up the most barrels. Slade Ciccone, hopefully I'm saying that right, or Ciccone, 17.8% on the barrel, very limited sample size. Irvin, a larger sample size, 11.5. So, and then this gives you all the ground ball information, hard hit, BABIP. So this is all nice information for the batted ball, including XFIP. We're going to go over XFIP in the next section when we're doing our starting pitcher splits, left versus right. And then finally, the last part here is the K percentage. So you can see how they're striking out, K percentage, the walks, the swinging strike. Sometimes if this swinging strike is higher and this number is lower, kind of like we're talking about regression here, that could be some positive regression. And this is their chase K percentage. So Baseball Savant has a chase K percentage, and FanGraphs, they have a O swing outside the zone swing percentage. We just put chase K percentage right there. So that's that right there. And if you ever have any questions about the stats, we always have the stat legend right here as well. So that does it for the breakdown side. Let's go to the starting pitcher splits. Okay, again, we have the download here for you. Go to the view full screen. Okay, so what we have here is we have each pitcher left, first, right, and then to the right we have the position and aligned. So you could see, based on what you're looking for, who is facing that pitcher on that side of the plate and the positions. So we have all the way from catcher, and then over here we have utility guys. Sometimes we have multiple guys like Josh Bell and Nathaniel Lowe both play first base. On DK, you have to pick one. So we have him right over here. So that way he's on the slate. So let's see here. And we have their salaries. So if you wanted to filter by salary, you want to see what the most expensive. Remember, this is the projected lineup. Obviously, this is dropped in the morning, so we don't have the full lineup. We didn't want to clutter it too much. You can always add players to this as well, but this just gives you kind of a good idea. Maybe what side, if you decide you like the Tampa Bay stack, which way to go, left or right, based on the pitcher. And let's see. So over here, so this is where we want to talk about XFIP. This is actually one of the questions that was dropped to us. So look, expected fielding, independent pitching. You don't need to know exactly what it means or how it's calculated. All you need to know is how to use it. And how we use it is basically what it's telling us is it's giving us a warning that something's wrong in the pitcher's profile here. It's not necessarily, hey, it's a high XFIP, just stack against that. That'd be the wrong way to go about it, but it is telling you something's wrong. A lot of times it's the walks. Walks really hurt this stat. Low strikeout percentage can also hurt this stat. The home runs per 9 is not affected by that. Low ground ball percentage, that can hurt the high hard hit percentage. That could also hurt the stat. So basically, you want to use this as a eyebrow raiser and kind of see what's going on with that and how can we take advantage of that based on the hitting stats. And you will have in the next section, you can look at the batting splits and you kind of compare those, and hopefully you can find some plays that maybe other people aren't looking at. So Cole Reagans is kind of a nice example of how that XFIP is working. So 3.57, it is a little high against lefties, and we can see the walk rates driving that up. The strikeouts is helping it. The hard hit is hurting it, but the ground balls really helps that out. 333. Slade under here, ground balls are very low. That's going to hurt the profile, but he has a 27% strikeout rate and the walk rate's pretty manageable. So that's not. So if any of these were to dip, or if we saw in the last one, it's a smaller sample size, this could end up flying up because these numbers are all very high and they've resulted in some home runs as well. So that's kind of how we use this page. I really like this one. This is where I would download it and I start marking my players, and you can start to see vertically based on who you highlight. Do I have a lot of first basemen? Do I have a lot of second basemen I like? And kind of see what position I need to find more on. And then on the next one, our batting splits, that helps me find more hitters as well. So let's look at that one. Again, for the batting splits, we have the free download here, so you can create your own worksheet and kind of work off of that. So let's take a look at this one here. So we have three tables for this. The first one is a projected lineup similar to the one you saw in a different format. We have the order here along with the bench players. That's the one that you don't have on the starting pitcher splits. And you can always add them, but if you download these, you can add these players to that other sheet as well. This here is the batting splits. These are formatted for left versus right based on their matchup on the breakdown. So that's already set. And then here we have our 14-day stat cast. The 14-day stat cast, the reason why we do 14 days is whenever you're looking at barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, once we get to a certain point and they've had a certain amount of bats, that number really doesn't change. So you kind of stop using it as the season goes on because a guy like Shohei Ohtani is just going to have great barrel percentage. You know that. You don't need to go check that every single day. But it's nice to know who's been swinging a hot bat, who's been getting more barrels. I know for me, like when I find the split, like let's say Manzardo, like a 441 against a lefty, maybe that's a little bit inflated. 40 at bats, that's not too bad, but you can see a lot more at bats for these guys versus righties. And then also I can check and see, well, how's Manzardo swinging the bat so far? It's a left on left matchup. That might tip the scales a little if he even starts. Let's see if we can find another one here. So we have Michael Busch, he's swinging a hot bat, and he's also had a great year versus right-handers. So basically, it kind of helps you not jump into a bunch of landmines, because I know I've find guys like this, like a Carson Kelly who has a 302 ISO, and we could see down here over the last 14 days, not quite where it's been on the season long. But you don't want to run into guys that are just really struggling, striking out maybe 40% of the time. And over here, you can kind of compare that, how they're doing their last 7 games, their total points. So this really helps you avoid that. And let's get into the barrel percentage, because this was another question that was asked. So here's the thing you need to know about barrel percentage. Barrel percentage only covers the batted ball events. So Seiya Suzuki has a 20% barrel rate over the last 14 days with a 14% strikeout rate. Armstrong has a 14% barrel with a 34. So his barrel rate is significantly lower than Suzuki's because the strikeouts aren't being counted in this swing and miss, along with the hard hit percentage. So whenever you're looking at these, so you're going to see a lot of guys. Let's see. Let's just filter. So you can filter by barrel percentage. And you'll see some guys with an inflated barrel percentage with a high K rate. That's just because the swing and misses aren't being counted on these at all. So be real careful. If you can find a guy like Junior Caminero who's been hot lately where this strikeout is low and this is still high, that's really something to look at. And it can really help you get a jump on your competition, especially if the last 7 games hasn't quite worked out for them. Maybe the ownership might be a little bit lower, and you've just found somebody that no one's really looking at. So this is a really nice little tool to help you find some bats on each slate and kind of compare them with each one. You want to see who's been hot lately, who has the left-right split advantage. And then you can kind of compare it to here and start to mark off players or maybe cross off players that you might not want to play based on these stats. Hopefully, and again, we want to keep it very easy to read. That's why we have the hard hit, the barrels, and the Ks right next to each other. So that way you can easily see that, and you have it right here to kind of compare notes. And again, you could filter this however you like. You can see what's the top ISO. You can basically go who's been hotter over the last 7 days as far as points, who has the highest WRC plus. You can go ahead and mess around with that. And then also if you filter by team here, it'll keep that that sort there for you on each team. Kind of a little Excel tip there. So this way it'll give you the highest guys who've been scoring over the last 7 days. So that's pretty much it for today. We'll try to keep these small slates on Thursdays. Maybe we'll try to do something like this if we continue to get questions. These are here to help you. Hopefully you sign up for our site, and so that way you can get emails once we drop the new episodes. We are also on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Twitter, X, excuse me. Always make that mistake. Hopefully, drop us a follow. Give us any more questions you have. We appreciate you checking us out today. And if you made it through the whole video, I really appreciate that. Again, give you some comments, give us some likes, and good luck on your DFS contests. And hopefully you download our stuff today. Thank you very much.